This meeting is a hybrid meeting, both in person and remote. I am the chair and will be remote today. Looking at a roll call from voting members, I see myself, Marty, Carissa.
Yeah. Hi.
Josh.
I'm here.
Lynn.
Here.
Nicole.
Here.
Kate, I see you're there as well, and welcome. I don't think we've done an official vote on Kate as a member, but do I have to, Lynn, because she's the school committee representative?
I don't think the building committee does a vote on that.
Right.
I don't know if Marty does.
It is by by the design of the board who the representatives are, and she's been replaced by the school committee. So, welcome, Kate, and just say here, and we're good.
Here.
Here. Calling to the meeting order. The first thing on the meeting order would be public comments. Are there any public comments?
Yes.
Yeah.
We do have some public
Armin.
comments in the room, Armin. And so, since Armin's remote, you can come on up to the table, to the microphone, and introduce yourselves and your address.
Hi, my name is Terry Teresa DiGiulio, and I live at 8 Woodside Drive.
Bill DiGiulio, same address, 8 Woodside Drive.
So we were at a forum that Marty was hosting on the.
I'm going to stop you there. Is this comments in regards to the incident that you have reported, or is this in regards to the building project itself?
I have 3 minutes to speak. No.
You're not. If it is not about the building project and it is about the incident, I'm ruling it out of order and not heard it.
Okay. So I guess my voice is not heard, right?
That's almost,
That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. No, it's not. It's unacceptable.
Thank you.
Unacceptable.
we made our comments to the school committee,
But not to the
but
school board.
we wanted to make the comments to the middle school building committee.
No, you are out of order.
Next time you have a forum, you need to make sure it's under control, please.
In regards to public interactions, we have regarded power in regard to this building only. Are there any other public comments? Seeing none, moving to the approval of minutes on May 14th, 2025. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes from May 14th, 2025.
Motion is moved. Is there a second?
Second.
A second. And Armin, did you recognize me at the outset of the meeting?
Yeah.
Dave.
Yeah. Oh, Dave?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Dave. I didn't see you there. No, I did not, and I know you're there now.
Thank you.
Okay. In the room, so I'll go around, go up to where I see Nicole.
Yes.
Lynn?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Armin, yes. Marty?
Yes.
Carissa?
Yes.
Is there anybody else out there? Kate, did I say your name?
Yes.
Okay. All right, the motion passes. Going to new business, moving on to schedule update. Colliers?
Yep, thanks, Armin. So I just want to remind folks of the two votes we have coming up for funding the project. We have September 9th, there's a special town meeting, and then September 30th will be a ballot vote for the project. So those are two important dates coming up, just to remind folks to get out there and show their vote. And that's all I have for schedule for tonight.
Collier, CMR recommendations of the committee, or Dave or Marty, you want to speak to that?
Sure. I think our thought was to have Adam as our project manager, explain the process, and then Dave and I can weigh in on the recommendation of the team that interviewed the construction manager. So
Perfect. All right, so I'm just going to kind of go back a little bit how this process started. So the school building committee developed a CM selection committee was formed. That was some school building committee members, members from the design team, and then members from Collier's, the OPM. And at that time, we sent off to get approval from the Inspector General's office to go a CM at risk, and we did receive approval from the Inspector General's office to have this project use a construction manager. From there, an RFQ was issued for a construction manager, and there was 8 firms that submitted qualifications. Those qualifications were reviewed and then narrowed down or shortlisted down to 4 different construction managers. That was Bond, Shawmut, Consigli, and Fontaine. And from there, we issued an RFP. We requested a non-price proposal and a price proposal, and then we scheduled interviews. We evaluated each of those proposals together, and then we held interviews yesterday. So today, we'll have, the committee will have a recommendation, or the subcommittee will have a recommendation for the full committee to consider. And then if that motion passes, then we would issue a letter of intent to the construction manager to begin their services. And then from there, we'll negotiate the contracts, and I'll work with Chad on our end and Lynn to make sure that we have the contract signed and get through negotiations.
all right, I'll pick it up from here. So we had a great team assembled to interview the firms that Adam had identified. Dave McGrain and I representing the building committee. Lynn Simmons, our town manager and member of the building committee, was also present. JWA and Colliers provided their support and input as well. So as Adam mentioned, we had an opportunity to review the price proposals, the non-price proposals, and then participate in the interviews. And so it was a thorough process. I appreciate how Colliers guided us through that process and really made sure that we were within the requirements within the legal requirements to make sure that it was a thorough and fair process. So with regard to the price proposals we received, all of the proposed fees were under the estimates, the schematic design estimates that we had made. And so in that sense, I'd say they were all the fee proposals were all deemed to be favorable. In terms of so really the proposals themselves were excellent as well. I think we all felt we had 4 firms that were fully capable and qualified and prepared to work collaboratively with us on the project. The interviews were really helpful in terms of giving us an opportunity to meet with the team. Each of the firms brought full project management teams. Each of the firms demonstrated that they had collaborative teams in place. Each of the firms demonstrated kind of an understanding of our project. Ultimately, the team is bringing a recommendation to hire Fontaine Brothers as our construction management partner. I think what separated Fontaine from the other excellent firms that had submitted proposals was their commitment to K-12 education. All the firms had K-12 experience. With Fontaine, it seemed to be their primary focus. I think Fontaine also demonstrated that they had really studied the community. They were really able to talk us through what they saw as the community impacts. and how we could mitigate the concerns that have been brought forward from residents with regard to the construction process and the traffic. The other thing I think that...
Marty, can I ask you?
Sure.
Marty, just
Yeah.
pardon me, just asking a question along the way. I think, I don't know if you said it earlier, but there seemed to be significant abutter support for Fontaine as well as the preferred vendor. Is that correct?
Yeah, we had received a letter signed by, I'm going to say about a dozen or so neighbors who were supportive of hiring Fontaine for this project. And I think that factored into our considerations as well. I think, really, as we've said many times, one of the big focal points of our work with the design team and the design of the campus has been to be sort of responsive to the concerns of the neighborhood and to be sure that we're mitigating impacts. And so I think that was really an area that stood out for us with Fontaine. The other thing that stood out for me was Fontaine's access to local subcontractors and suppliers, and that seemed to be important to the team that did the interviews as well. And so really that emphasis on local concerns being shepherded by a local firm, I think that really was something that was compelling to us through the review of their proposals and through the interview process. If our chair is okay with it, I'd like to share with the committee and by extension the community a video that was included in the proposal that Fontaine had shared with us, and I think it will maybe give this committee and anyone who watches kind of an understanding of how considerate Fontaine Brothers would want to be of the construction impacts and the impacts to the neighborhood. So if you're okay with that, Armand, I'd like to show that video.
I'm totally okay with it. I have viewed the video. I am amazed at how much they captured the essence of the project and how well it translates into people being able to understand what we should be expecting the next steps along the way. So yeah, by all means, go ahead and play it.
1 second here. And let me know if you're seeing a screen with a rendering of the building right now.
Yes,
Okay.
we see the YouTube. Yep.
And so let me know if the audio is not coming through, just wave your hand or let me know.
Our team is so excited to submit this proposal. While we've been through this process many times before, assembling this proposal has been far more personal. Several members of our team are Longmeadow residents. They live here, have raised their families here, and their kids have all gone through the Longmeadow Public Schools. We've taken their local knowledge and their passion for this project to create an approach that includes very specific ideas. Ideas on how to get the vote passed, how to avoid disruption to the neighbors on Duxbury and Woodside, and how to control traffic and parking impacts on the residential side streets between Bliss and Williams. Ultimately, these ideas form the foundation of a plan to deliver this project while treating the job site and the community with respect. Our logistics plan is rooted in our local knowledge of the ebb and flow of traffic in the area throughout the day, the fact that large numbers of kids walk and bike to school in good weather, and an understanding of how the bell schedules at the high school and Blueberry Hill, as well as the proximity of the shops, impact afternoon traffic and congestion in town. Construction will start during the summer of 2026. Our focus will be on the installation of the geothermal wells and installing safety measures to separate the construction zone from the school before the return of students in September. The site lends itself very nicely to a clean separation between construction activities and school operations. Our offices, laydown area, and parking will all stay along the Williams Street side of the site. There will be no impacts to the existing parking or traffic flow of the day-to-day activities of the school. Construction of the new school fits nicely between the summers of 2026 and 2028. We have built a number of new middle schools of similar size and feel very comfortable with your schedule and the duration of construction. We're also really excited about the design and the inclusion of both structural steel and mass timber. We have great relationships with both Canadian and European timber suppliers and bring tons of experience installing this work. The summer of 2028 will be an exciting and busy time. Our team will be working with the school department to relocate teachers from both Williams and Glenbrook, as well as receiving new furniture and equipment. While we're helping everyone get settled into the new school, we'll also be abating and demolishing the existing school. By the time students arrive in September, the old building will be gone, all the parking and new driveways will be installed, and we will have retreated behind a new construction fence surrounding the athletic field, which we will complete over the course of the fall. Our team can't wait to share these ideas and more when we meet with you on the 22nd. And while this project is quite literally in our backyard, we would never ask you to pick us just because we're local. We're asking you to pick us because we're the best fit for your project. We're public school builders. This is what we do.
Nice. Thanks, Marty.
You're welcome. So I'll stop there, and I'd invite Dave, who obviously has a ton of experience in this field, to share anything that I might have missed.
Hey, thanks, Marty. And I'm going to apologize real quick here. I've got 5 Long Meadow School District students climbing in my car right now, so it'll be a little bit of background noise. So just to add to what Marty was saying, for me, Fontaine, so first of all, yes, all 4 of the candidates were highly qualified. To reiterate, where Fontaine really separated themselves was the local intel and how they brought that local intel to the scope of proposal, the details of the proposal. All 4 firms brought some level of intel, but in the inherent level of intel that Fontaine possesses is hard to usual, hard to match, and that was clear in their proposal. The second part that really swayed my view of all this was Fontaine's recent, relevant, and a breadth of experience, specifically with Colliers and JWA on K through 12 projects. And that experience, none of the other candidates could match. So those were the 2 highlights that I focused on when raising my opinion to bring Fontaine on.
Great. there any questions from any of the board members?
I have a question. Being new, this may have been covered previously, but I'm wondering if the proposal stipulates any cost contingencies or material costs that would relate to tariffs.
So I can answer that. So the proposals themselves don't, they talked about tariffs, and so working with the Mass School Building Authority, we have a spreadsheet that we've shown in the past. It's called the 3011, and that's where it's a total project budget. Within that total project budget, we are carrying $1 million for potential tariffs. So that's there as a contingency for tariffs. But working with a CM, especially somebody who's going to come on early, is really going to be able to tell us what items we may have to pre-purchase to stay ahead of the tariffs or lead times. So that's another benefit of having a CM on board.
I think, it's fair to say.
I would just say, as part of the overall project, Kate, we have had multiple conversations about tariffs. Even, and I don't know if Dory, I see you're out there as well. We had asked both of the estimators who had estimated for us against each other. Both were estimating like an extra 1% at the time for the tariffs. It wasn't anticipated to greatly affect the project at that time. Of course, that's subject to change, but Dory, you want to give any color on that?
I think, as Adam said, the value of having the CM on early is that they're actually given more time to vet, and each of the teams addressed tariffs in their interview in various ways. One of the things that stood out was that Fontaine was already looking at some of the more unique procurement elements and pursuing different options for those elements. And I think you see that kind of across the board. Everybody was assessing what impact tariffs might have on different parts of construction. But since only parts of the construction would be impacted, and there's plenty of lead time before we get to that procurement, a lot of that can get mitigated by either early purchases, the discussion about, again, concerns about electrical equipment and the need to purchase that early. All of those ways were helping the project offset those impacts. So I think it was pretty consistent in their consideration for the issues.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, this is Josh. I got a question. Between the different proposals, I think it would be pretty straightforward. You're building a building next to another building. Were there any significant differences in how the rollout would happen, or timing-wise, or was it all fairly consistent?
Timing-wise, I'd say they were consistent. I'd say the firms might have had different views on where to establish the access road for the trades, or they might have different views on location of construction trailers, that kind of thing. But even with that, I think what I heard from JWA and Colliers is that the proposals for phasing and access to the site for construction are just that, proposals, and that we'll have ample time to sit down with Fontaine Brothers to talk about how we'd like the site to be managed during that construction period, and how we'd like to maintain access and safety and controls during that construction period. So
Yeah, I would totally agree. As Marty said, that these proposals are just these firms looking at school committee meetings and kind of watching videos versus sitting down and having conversations with, Nicole's from the schools and all this other stuff, and meeting with us to make sure that, everyone's on the same page. So that logistics plan that they showed, I imagine, will change a little bit. It just shows that they gave a lot of thought into coming into this of what they see up front without actually having conversations with the committee.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, thank you. I think that my question kind of came about because I was talking to Julie Morgan today, who is on a flight, so she couldn't be on the call. But we were discussing, because our younger kids will be in school middle school the entire time of construction, and we were talking about how access and safety and if they'll have any outdoor area. And so that's something that I would be curious to talk about with the CMR. So knowing that it's proposals, I think helps my decision. So thank you.
Yeah. I think we
Can I-
And
can I
Josh, sorry, go ahead, Dory.
I was just going to add that one of the values of this process is that, and I want to publicly thank all of the contenders for bringing their ideas to the table, because there were a variety of ideas brought by each team on a variety of subjects that are useful for us to talk about and consider with Fontaine. So they all already added something to it, and I think we should be grateful for the effort they put into it. But on the site prep work, there was one team that really emphasized doing those off-site improvements early in the project timeline in order to sort of address some potential safety improvements that could bring. So that was, I thought, a useful idea. There were ideas about how to mitigate impact on abutters with specific types of fencing, and that was taken well by the committee. So I think there will be things we'll carry from that process over, and will improve the process going forward with the selected CM.
And if I could add to what Dory was saying, in addition to options or ideas that were presented during this interview process, there were also dozens of examples of how these kinds of challenges were mitigated on real projects in the past. And maybe we don't see the same challenge yet on this project, but there's obviously a library, a history to draw on to address any and all challenges that we might find. I mean, they were showing cases of zero clearance between occupied school and active building compared to, we have several dozens of feet difference. So I just want to add that plenty of ideas and examples that were coming from past experiences as well across the four.
Any other questions or comments? If not, is there a motion?
Armin, Nicole, sorry.
Hey, Nicole.
Happy to make a motion, and also just to echo what Dory said and thank Bond and Shama and Consigli and Fontaine for all coming out. It was great reading to look through all the different proposals. I move that the Middle School Building Committee vote to award Fontaine Brothers as the construction managers, as recommended by the Construction Manager Selection Committee, and that a letter of intent be sent to begin work.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
There's a second from Lynn. Is there any further discussion on the topic? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to call for a vote. Roll call. Nicole?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Lynn?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Carissa?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Marty?
Yes.
Armin, yes. And Chris is absent. Motion passes. Next on new business is next steps. So Chad, I guess next step kind of falls on you.
Yes, I'll work with Adam on the contract so we can get that out sometime by the end of next week, hopefully.
Yeah, what I'll do first is I'll draft up a letter of intent and share that with Chad. And then if that seems acceptable, I'll send it off to Fontaine and work with them and Chad and Lynn on the contract.
That sounds good. Hey, I think it needs to be noted, though, from a cost perspective, all of the proposals came in under what we had budgeted, correct?
Correct. Yeah, and all the proposals were pretty close as far as cost-wise as well. So all four came in, within a % of each other, if not half a percent. They were all very competitive.
It's good to know. I mean, the good thing is along the project, we've had most of the costs have not exceeded what we were expecting. If anything, they've come in just at what we're talking about or under.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy on the process so far, working with Colliers and JW out there to keep us in line. And I hope, this is just things to come with Fontaine. Is there any other input? Seeing none, I'd call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Quickly, Nicole?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Lynn?
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Carissa,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Armin, yes. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.